Open the damn door. Alex, we need to talk now. The pounding on my front door shakes the walls. I grip my coffee mug tighter, rolling my eyes. Here we go again. Through the peephole, I see him. Richard Whitaker, the HOA president, red-faced and fuming, with 2 board members standing behind him like backup dancers in a bad 80s music video. I take my time unlocking the door. The second it cracks open, Whitaker shoves it wider and storms in uninvited. You think you're fucking clever. How he barks, his breath reeking of stale coffee and self-importance. Good morning to you too, Richard, I reply, sipping my coffee, unfazed. Lovely day for a home invasion. Cut the shit, he spits. We have evidence, hard fucking proof, that you've been running an illegal Airbnb out of this house. You think you're above the rules? You think I'm a fucking idiot? I lean against the doorframe, smirking. Oh, Richard, I don't think you're an idiot. I know you're an idiot. His face twitches. The 2 board members shift uncomfortably. You've got 48 hours to shut that shit down before we start legal action. He thrusts a manila envelope toward me, his fingers trembling with anger. I take the envelope, rip it open dramatically, and scan the paper. It's an official HOA violation notice, citing me for unauthorized short-term rentals. I chuckle. Cute. You think this is funny? You are in serious fucking trouble. I fold the paper and shove it back into his chest. I don't have an Airbnb, Richard. Not a single listing. But you already knew that, didn't you? For a split second, I see it in his eyes, a flicker of uncertainty. He wants this to be true. He needs it to be true. But it's not. We have reports. He snaps. Oh yeah. I step forward, forcing him back an inch. From who? The nosy lady across the street? The dude who trims my hedges? Or is it just another one of your bullshit power plays? He clenches his jaw. Watch yourself. I raise my hands. Oh, I am watching myself. And you should be too. Because if you push this any further, Richard, you're gonna regret it. The board members exchange nervous glances. They weren't expecting me to fight back. Is that a fucking threat? Whitaker growls. I step even closer, lowering my voice. No, Richard. It's a fucking promise. His eyes narrow. His face now the shade of an overripe tomato. He points a shaking finger at me. You're done. You hear me? Done. I watch them storm off, slamming my door so hard the walls vibrate. I exhale slowly. The anger in my chest is molten, ready to explode. But I can't just lash out. I need a plan. I grab my laptop and start digging. If they want a war, they're gonna get one. And it won't end the way they think. I rip it off and scan the bullshit reasons. Unauthorized short-term rentals, excessive noise complaints, and improper waste disposal. Noise complaints? I live alone. The only noise coming from my house is me cackling at Whitaker's desperation. Before I can even process the sheer stupidity of this, my phone buzzes an email from the HOA. That motherfucker. I march outside, crumpled notice in hand, and storm straight to Whitaker's house. His 2-story McMansion sits at the end of the cul-de-sac, the kind of place that screams, I tell on my neighbors for sport. Before I even knock, his door swings open. He stands there, smug, arms crossed like he's been waiting for me. Well, well, well. I was wondering when you'd come crawling. I slammed the violation notice against his chest. You have got to be fucking kidding me, Richard. He glances at it, smirking. All official. All above board. Noise complaints? Waste violations? You're pulling shit out of your ass. Watch your language, Alex. We're civilized here. Oh, fuck you and your fake civility. You want to explain how I'm getting fined for an Airbnb that doesn't exist? He leans against his doorframe, eyes gleaming. Prove it. My blood boils. You're making this shit up, and you know it. You're just pissed that I won't roll over like the rest of them. He shrugs. The HOA has rules. Maybe if you weren't so combative, you wouldn't have so many issues. You want to talk about rules, Richard? I step closer. Then let's talk about that rental property on Birchwood. You know, the one the HOA owns? The one listed on Airbnb right fucking now. His smirk vanishes. Boom. The second I mention the HOA's own violations, Whitaker's confidence flickers. It's brief, but I see it. I don't know what you're talking about. He says too quickly. I pull out my phone and scroll through my saved screenshots. Really? Luxury home in private community, managed by HOA Realty. That's funny, because I recognize that address. I tilt the phone toward him, showing the Airbnb listing. That's illegal under your own fucking rules, Richard. The sweat beads on his forehead. This isn't what you think, he mutters. Oh no. Then tell me what it is. Silence. I grin. Checkmate, asshole. But before he can answer, a voice chimes in from behind us. Everything all right here? I turn. It's Angela, one of my neighbors, one of the few people who's not afraid of Whitaker. She's holding her phone, clearly recording. Whitaker snaps. You can't record me. This is private. Public street, motherfucker. Angela cuts him off. You were just talking about rules, right? Well, here's one. You don't get privacy out here. Richard spins on me. You have no idea who you're fucking with. Oh, I think I do, I shoot back. And I think you're scared. Angela laughs. Yeah, Richard. You should be. That night, I go deep. I spend hours scouring HOA financial records, old meeting minutes, complaints from other homeowners. I start connecting the dots, fining residents unfairly while letting board members do whatever the fuck they want, using collected fines to pay for personal expenses, including a business trip to Miami. Really? Running an unregistered rental business under the HOA's name. Everywhere I look, I find more dirt. The next day, I start talking to neighbors. Turns out, I'm not the only one getting harassed. Janet from 2 houses down got fined $250 for a faded mailbox. The Johnsons had their cars towed for parking in their own driveway. Greg, a retired vet, had his service dog classified as a nuisance so the HOA could threaten eviction. This isn't just me. Whitaker's been running the HOA like a dictatorship, and people are done being afraid. Just as I start organizing the resistance, the HOA escalates. I get 3 more violation notices in one day. A HOA lawyer emails me, warning of a potential lawsuit. The HOA's private security starts patrolling my street, aka sitting outside my house, trying to intimidate me. But the biggest fuck you comes a week later. A process server knocks on my door, hands me an official lawsuit. The HOA is suing me for defamation. I laugh. Actually laugh. Because they just fucked up. They think they're burying me in legal fees. They don't realize that I've been waiting for this. Because now I get to go public. I call the local news. I email my lawyer. And I gather every single homeowner who's been screwed over. This isn't a fight anymore. This is war. They're not even trying to be subtle anymore. As I stand there, flipping through the ridiculous fines, I notice a white sedan creeping past my house. Same car from yesterday. And the day before. It slows down just enough for me to see Whitaker sitting in the passenger seat. He smirks. My blood turns molten. I whip out my phone and start recording. Smile, Richard, I say, loud enough for the mic to pick up. You're on camera. The car speeds off. Coward. I exhale, shaking with rage. They think this is going to break me. They think I'm just going to roll over. Wrong fucking move. That night, I start texting every homeowner I know. We set up a private group chat, a safe space away from the HOA's watchful eyes. Within hours, we've got over 40 people. People who have all been bullied, fined, harassed, or threatened. The chat blows up. Whitaker's little dictatorship is crumbling. The group agrees. It's time to fight back. We draft a petition demanding financial transparency, an end to selective enforcement, and a recall vote for the HOA board. Within 3 days, it has over 75 signatures. That's more than half the neighborhood. Whitaker sees the shift, and he loses his goddamn mind. The next morning, I wake up to a fucking tow truck, hooking up my car. I sprint outside. Hey, what the fuck do you think you're doing? A bored-looking guy in an orange vest shrugs. HOA says it's an unauthorized vehicle. He taps his clipboard. Says here it's been abandoned for more than 48 hours. I lose it. Does it look fucking abandoned? Before he can respond, a familiar voice cuts through the scene. Problem, Alex? Whitaker. Standing on the sidewalk, arms crossed, smug as hell. He's loving this. I march up to him. You just made a huge fucking mistake. No, Alex, he grins. You did. You stirred up shit, and now you're paying for it. I laugh. Not because it's funny. Because he doesn't realize what's about to happen to him. The moment the tow truck leaves, I put the plan into motion. Angela and I send everything, the fines, the harassment, the illegal HOA Airbnb to the local news. Within 24 hours, it's on TV. Homeowners in this community are being fined into financial ruin while the HOA president violates his own rules. Residents are now pushing for his removal. I contact a lawyer who specializes in HOA abuse. The second he sees the violations, the financial mismanagement, the fake Airbnb, he laughs. Oh, we're gonna ruin these motherfuckers. We flood the HOA's inbox with emails demanding Whitaker's resignation. We pack the next HOA meeting with every single pissed-off homeowner. Whitaker walks in and sees over 100 people, staring, waiting, hungry for blood. His confidence shatters. But the best part? I haven't even played my final card yet. The HOA meeting is packed. Every chair is filled. People line the back wall, spill into the hallway, whispering among themselves. The tension in the air is thick enough to choke on. At the front of the room, the HOA board members sit stiffly behind their long oak table, their fake professionalism barely holding together. And at the center of it all, Richard Whitaker. He's trying to look composed, but I can see it, the stiffness in his jaw, the way his fingers twitch against the tabletop. He's cornered, and he fucking knows it. I step forward. Let's get to it, Richard. He glares. This is an official meeting. If you don't follow protocol, you will be removed. I smirk. Oh, don't worry. I'm all about protocol. I drop a thick-ass binder onto the table. The thud echoes through the room. This is a collection of every bullshit fine, every selective enforcement, and every single shady financial move you've made as HOA president. Whitaker doesn't blink, irrelevant. The board operates within full legal authority. I pull out my phone, hook it up to the projector. The screen behind me lights up with a screenshot. An Airbnb listing. The HOA-owned property. A collective gasp ripples through the crowd. Whitaker flinches. What's this, Richard? I ask, my voice dripping with fake curiosity. Because according to your own rules, Airbnb rentals are illegal in this community. Silence. Then murmurs. The crowd shifts, whispers growing louder. I knew something was shady. He fined me for a damn mailbox while he was running a rental. Son of a bitch. Whitaker grits his teeth. That's a misrepresentation of the facts. Oh, don't worry, I say. I've got plenty of facts. I swipe to the next slide. Bank records. Whitaker's face goes white. A woman from the board leans forward, panicked. Richard, what the hell is this? Boom. This is bullshit. This is an orchestrated attack. He shouts, slamming his fist on the table. You people have no idea how much work goes into keeping this community in order. Order? I laugh. You mean bleeding homeowners, dry while you play king? He points a shaking finger at me. You're a liar. A troublemaker. I click the next slide. Surveillance photos. Whitaker welcoming guests into his illegal Airbnb. Him collecting cash. Him smirking like an untouchable little tyrant. The room erupts. People are shouting. Whitaker stumbles back in his chair. Sweating. I lean in, lowering my voice just enough for the mic to pick up. You really thought you could keep this buried? His eyes dart around the room. He sees the rage, the betrayal. The people who once feared him now turning against him. He bolts from his chair. This meeting is over. Wrong fucking move. Because the moment he turns to leave, my lawyer steps into the aisle, holding a lawsuit. Richard Whitaker, you are being served for financial fraud, harassment, and abuse of power. He freezes. His own lawyer, the same HOA attorney that sent me threats, is standing off to the side, watching. Whitaker turns to him. Fucking do something. The lawyer shrugs. I don't represent criminals. And just like that, the kingdom crumbles. The board members start distancing themselves immediately. The neighbors are on their feet, demanding his resignation. The HOA vice president finally speaks up. We'll be holding a special election to recall Richard Whitaker as president, effective immediately. Whitaker looks around, realizing it's over. You can't do this to me, he whispers. I built this place. I step forward, one last time. No, Richard, I say. You tore it down. And with that, he walks out. And for the first time in years, the HOA is silent. The news picks up the story. Corrupt HOA president exposed for fraud, forced to resign amid lawsuits. The State Housing Authority launches an audit. Whitaker is personally sued by multiple homeowners. The Airbnb property shut down. The missing HOA money being investigated. And Whitaker himself gone. He sells his house within a month and leaves town. The new HOA board, led by actual decent people, starts reversing every bullshit fine. People get refunds. The ridiculous rules are removed. The community heals. And me? I stand on my front porch one morning, sipping my coffee. Angela walks up, grinning. Neighborhood feels a little different, huh? I smirk. Yeah, feels a lot less corrupt. She nudges me. What are you gonna do now? You just took down a whole damn HOA. I exhale, taking it all in. I think I'll enjoy the quiet for a bit. She laughs. Sure. Until the next asshole tries something. I chuckle. Because she's right. But for now, I fucking won. HOAs are supposed to protect communities. But when you give power-hungry assholes control, it turns into a goddamn dictatorship. Whitaker thought he could bully, fine, and intimidate his way into being a king. But he forgot one thing. The people he was screwing over weren't afraid of him anymore. And when people stop being afraid, corrupt men fall. This section keeps the fire going, pushing Whitaker into total collapse, making the protagonist's victory not just personal, but a full-on community shift. Are you ready for the final resolution? 2 weeks after the most explosive HOA meeting in neighborhood history, the fallout is glorious. The HOA board members scramble to distance themselves from Whitaker. A few of them resign overnight. The others, forced out by the recall vote. The special election is held. The new board consists of actual homeowners who give a shit. Their first order of business? But my favorite part? That fucking Airbnb property. It's officially shut down. The HOA is forced to sell it off. The proceeds? Divided among the homeowners Whitaker scammed. The icing on the cake? Whitaker himself is drowning in lawsuits. With his reputation shattered and no way out, he does the only thing he can. He runs, puts his house on the market, sells it at a loss, and gets the fuck out of town. No goodbye. No last stand. Just gone. The first morning after Whitaker vanishes, I step out onto my front porch. For the first time in months, there's no bullshit violation notice on my door. No fines. No security guards creeping by my house. No Whitaker watching from his car like a smug, power-drunk overlord. Just peace. Angela walks over, coffee in hand, grinning. So, how's it feel to be the motherfucker who burned down an entire HOA dictatorship? I smirk. Feels good. Feels quiet. She nudges me. Yeah, for now. You do realize you've basically become the unofficial neighborhood badass, right? I laugh. Oh, great. That's exactly what I wanted, more responsibility. She raises an eyebrow. People listen to you now, Alex. You stood up to Whitaker when everyone else was too scared to. That shit matters. I sigh, taking a sip of coffee. She's right. For months, I was just trying to survive. Trying to push back against one asshole in a cheap suit. But now, I've changed something bigger. People aren't afraid anymore. They question rules. They stand up for themselves. And somehow in all this chaos, I've become part of that change. Final impact, the legacy of the battle. One night, a new neighbor moves in. Young couple, bright-eyed, excited. They pull into the driveway, and the husband steps out, stretching his arms. I watch from my porch as he scans the street, smiling. Wow, he says. This place looks amazing. Feels so peaceful. Angela bites back a laugh. Yeah, it wasn't always like this. The wife grins. Well, it's nice to know we don't have one of those crazy HOAs that fines you for breathing too loud. Angela and I exchange a look. I step forward, shaking the guy's hand. Oh, don't worry, I say. We took care of that problem. The guy chuckles. Nice. What happened? Angela grins. Oh, buddy, you're gonna want to grab a drink for this one.